Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Power Impact series. And hey, last week, if you were not on the channel, you better go and then view what happened last week. This week, today, depending on where you are joining us from, I want to say a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Ambassador Benjamin Oswansa, and today happens to be a wonderful day for us because you know why? I have the female version of Benjamin joining us in the studio, and she is going to blow your mind. You know why? Because she is going to let us revitalize and bring forth or bring back to being whatever dreams we have or had that we've not been able to achieve it. We are going to walk the talk and we are going to bring back those dead dreams. So ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome onto the platform where it is influencing our generation all over the world by kind courtesy of the African Seasoned Speakers Network. Help me welcome the female version of Benjamin. And it's no other person than Beverly Zeimet.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. It's great to be here. We've been having quite the conversation already. I am so excited, and I want to just be a big shout out to Mackenzie for giving me this opportunity to be here today.
Right. So a big shout out to Mackenzie, wherever you are. Big shout out to you for putting this together and letting us have on our platform such a cherished and honored lady on our platform. So I say she's a female version of Benjamin because she's Beverly. So I say she's the female version of Benjamin. Yeah, whether you like it or not.
Sure. We're the B&B group today, okay?
Yeah, we're the B&B group. Yeah. We are in the B&B group. All right. So to our viewers, as we always say, if you're willing to help and sponsor this wonderful initiative where we can reach thousands of eyeballs, thousands of ears, thousands of people wherever in the world, you can just hit us and then we will be willing and welcome to receive whatever sponsorship package you have for us so that we can reach a larger number of people. So today in the studio, as I earlier on mentioned, Madam Beverly, she is an author, she is a speaker, she is an energy healer and an emotional archaeologist. And she's going to tell us more about all this. So Beverly, how are you doing?
I am doing wonderful now that I'm here with you guys.
How is your end? How's Corona treated you for the past few months?
You know, lots of exciting things happening in my life. It never stops. You know, I am one of these little gypsies that just flows with the wind. Go where I'm called to go. And so I'm always like on the move and made a pretty big move here about a month ago now and come out into the wide open spaces of Wyoming. And it's just beautiful out here. And nature, I am really in nature. My heart is just in nature. So I am really around all of that right now. And it's just what the doctor ordered. Fresh air, a little cool air. It's getting crispy out there, but it's wintertime over here. It's not sunshine, but the sun is shining. So, but it's wonderful. Life is always on the move. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about, you know, in that walk, right? And bring back those dreams and no more talking. It's time to take action.
It's time to take action. It is time to take action. So right about now, it is time for us to take action from listening to Madam Beverly. So listen up. If you're watching us, today's catchword is time to take action. And you know, Beverly, every episode we try to get a catchphrase. And your catchphrase has just dropped very early for us today. Time to take action. So hashtag time to take action because we are no longer going to do the talk. We are going to do the walk. We've been doing the talk for a very long time. So tell us about yourself. You are an author. And ladies and gentlemen, she's authored 3 books already. She's co-authored many, and there is more coming in. Tell us about your writing skills. You've been writing books, yeah?
Yeah, I'm writing books actually. Oh my gosh. I guess I would have to say I got my writing back in the 70s when I was writing for newspapers. And it kind of started that. And it's like, wow, I got really creative with my words. And I was getting paid by the inch, So I
Okay,
you
okay.
get really creative. So you want your stories to get longer if you're getting paid by the inch. And life changed, different things happened. I moved out of farm country USA, moved to the big city of Denver, started working in the automotive industry, and then at that time I was doing a lot of counseling with the guys. I was in a man's world in the 80s. Women were not in the automotive business.
Okay.
And so it was easy for me. I grew up with 4 brothers and a lot of cousins that were boys. I came from a family of 11 kids, second oldest, grew up on a farm. So, you got to be tough on a farm. You're out there, slinging hay and everything else,
Wow.
And, so for me, that was just life. That's just the way it was. And moving into the automotive industry, I was selling sandpaper and everything else to body shops and mechanics and you name it. But it was fulfilling and it was invigorating and adventurous. And I met some of the most wonderful people that I still are friends with today. And
Wow.
then, counseling the guys, it was like, I kind of guess I had one up, on the other people that were selling from different paint stores and stuff. They were buying from me. Again, you build that know, like, and trust. And that's really critical in every aspect of life, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in your business life, whether it's just friendship, even in your family life, it's having those open lines of communication, be able to just speak. And that's part of walking the speak that you give instead of just talking the talk, really coming from your heart and following through with what you're saying. So the guys would come to me and say, "Oh man, my wife is giving me trouble, or my girlfriend is this, or my kid's that," right? And so it kind of really put me out there in that counseling avenue, of gosh, I did that for like 17 years, and then working in the healing arts and getting really full blown in the early 90s in the metaphysical world and that spiritual lifting. And that's where some major changes started taking place in my life when I walked out of the automotive industry and walked into the metaphysics and started working a lot with energy because we're energy. Everything in the world is energy. Everything has its own vibration. So if you got a microscope out, you could look under there and you could see everything moving. So we're all moving,
Right.
moving. You're not stagnant because you're still moving,
Right.
and it's making those choices to understand what that frequency and that vibration is. So when we talk about walking the talk, it's like, where is your truth? Where's your truth? What do you believe in?
Okay.
Is your belief system outdated? Have you let someone sour your dreams, crushed your beliefs, and let them define your choices and what to do or not to do? All these things just kind of casually happen. And we don't even realize they do. And we wonder why we're unhappy. We wonder why we're not being successful, or we're wondering why we're just getting the same old crap over and over and over. Well, it's because you're doing the same thing over and over. Where have you allowed fear to step in? Where have you mistrusted yourself? Where do you doubt the essence of the soul of who you are? Because it's deep in your heart, it's in your soul.
Right.
Start to take a look at that. It's not always pretty. And there's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But you're going to come out the other side feeling so much better. So just stop for a moment and think of something that you wanted to do when you were 10 years old, or 15 years old, or 20 years old, right? What did you want to be when you grew up? Well, I didn't know what I wanted to be, so I decided I wasn't grow up, so I stayed at 5 foot. So I got an excuse, right? But I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm just going to be what I am every single day,
Right.
right? And that's that free spirit that flows with the wind. That little gypsy, it's out there. It's in all of us. It's in all of us.
It's none of
Are you
us.
going to follow that message? Are you going to follow that dream? There's a song out, Follow That Dream, wherever that dream may take me.
Right.
Where did your dream take you? When you walk that talk again, what does that dream look like? It's never too late. Never too late. So look at that dream. What can you do to ignite the fire under that dream? And start bringing little pieces of it together for yourself. Right? So take a look at where your trust level is. Take a look at where you doubt. And take a look who is instructing you, who is making your choices, who's telling you what you have to do. Right? How to do it, where to do it, when to do it, how often to do it. Really? A little rebel me, it's like, that ain't going to happen. And it never has, and it's never
No.
going to. You reach that certain point in your life when you really begin to understand what that truth is. Now, we all have those little gremlins. We all have that static in our brain, that brain chatter that keeps yelling. So we try to not pay attention to it. Well, stop for a moment. What's the voice in your head that's screaming the loudest? Because the voice that's screaming the loudest up here is the one that's telling you from the gut, from the heart, from the soul that says, you're not doing what you came here to do. Hello, time to wake up, get off your you-know-what, and get out there and start walking your commitment. Start stepping into whatever it is. If you allow fear to hold you back, if you allow other people's, thoughts about, what it is, you're going to be defined by someone else's story.
Okay. Okay.
Right? It's time
Okay.
to cut off their story and say, wait a minute, I'm taking charge of my own story. And that kind of leads into what? Confidence. Confidence. And confidence and trust kind of hook together. They partner up here.
Right.
So trust what your heart is saying. Listen to what the gut is telling you. And say, I can do this. I can do this. Yes, I can. Just give me the guidance. Give me the guidance. Listen to the voice that's speaking, because it speaks loud and clear. Messages come from all different directions. Messages come through nature. Messages come through hearing behind what someone is trying to say. It's telling you, your soul is telling you, go out and try it. Don't let fear hold you back.
Right.
Because fear is just what? It's an imagination thought. It's what you think is going to happen. Well, what if you think something different is going to happen? Because whatever you think on and dwell on, that's what you're going to materialize. You say, no, wait a minute. Okay, I need to change this. I keep thinking this and I keep getting that. So if you're telling me if I start thinking this, I can get that? It really is that simple. Try it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong and prove yourself right. Start paying attention to that. We have all this database of information that we've built up ever since we were conceived. Some of it was truth back then because that's all we knew. Now we've adventured out, we got married, or went to work, we went to a different country, we different experiences in life. But that old database is still telling us that that's the true story. No, it's not no more. That's that subconscious that haunts away at you, that you need to say, hey, I hear you, but what if? Start having a conversation with your subconscious. Let your subconscious be right. Admit to them, say, subconscious, you were right. That was our truth. But you know what? I got all this new shiny objects, all this new information. What if Start playing pretend, because that subconscious is that little child. So start playing pretend and say, oh man, let's get rid of this old toy. I got this. Let's try it. Okay. Because they're going to jump right on. Okay, let's do it. Right. So it's like taking a toy away from a child. They're going to yell and kick and scream to get it back. But if you say, hey, look what I got. Let's get rid of this all day. Yeah, this is so much better. Okay. They drop it and they go. Your subconscious does that. And that's where that reprogram happens from that old database. So that now when you start stepping and walking into that new adventure, you're going to walk into that new adventure trusting and having faith in yourself and really believing that what's at the end of this curve, what's at the end of this road is going to be this beautiful, fun thing. It's going to be this desire. It's going to be my dream coming to life right before my eyes. And the naysayers like to, knock you down all the time. I'm going to give you guys a little quote to remember. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think, say, or do about you. It matters what you think, say, and do about you.
Doesn't matter what people say, think, or do about you. But it matters what you think, say, or do about yourself.
Exactly. It's your story. Tell your story the way you want it. And if it didn't turn out the way you wanted to, just say, okay, delete that story. Let's start a new one. I don't like that one. Right? But, people are only going to know what you tell them.
Okay.
They don't have to like you.
Right.
They don't have to love you.
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you this. There's billions of people in the world, and I will guarantee there's going to be lots of people out there who are going to love you and who are going to like you and who are going to want to be a part of what you have.
Okay.
Right? So don't sweat the old stuff, right? When someone holds you back, you're giving them permission. And a lot of times we play the blame game. Are you familiar with that, Benjamin? The blame game?
The blame game, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? If I do this and something messes up and I do it my way, then I have to be responsible. But if I do it their way and it screws up, I can blame them, right?
Yeah.
So who do you blame when you screw your own life up?
Okay.
Oops. Never thought about that. Well, they told me to do it. They said I should do it this way. They said I was doing it wrong that way. It's like, who are you listening to, right? And misery loves company, right?
Okay.
Misery loves company. Yeah. So who are you hanging around with? Because the people you're hanging around with, what? Are going to influence you the same way they are. And they don't want you to take off into an adventure. They don't want you to advance. They don't want you to get your dreams, because why? Because they're not doing theirs. And they want you to stay there with them.
Right. Let's all stay here together. Let's watch here.
Yeah. Let's just sit back and watch everybody else's dreams come true. I'm tired of that show. Right? It's just the reruns are on. Same episode. It's like, okay, time to make a new show. Time to find a different episode. Time to really walk your talk, not somebody else's. That's what this whole show is all about. The power is in here. In here. So you have to remember, what you give outside of yourself is only what you give to yourself.
Okay.
So I like to ask, my clients and just people in conversation, when they talk about love and all this stuff, and I say, hey, can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. What, Beverly? And I say, how much do you love yourself? They kind of like, what? Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, right now with everything that's going on in life, how much do you love yourself? Oh my gosh. Maybe 70%. Oh, cool. That's a lot. Now, you've got kids, right? Yeah. How much you love your kids on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh my gosh, that's a 10 plus. Really? Now that's interesting concept. The math doesn't quite work out here. I say, hey, you got $1,000 in your pocket? No. Well, how much you got? You got 700? No. I got maybe 50. Oh, well, guess what? You're only down there at that 0.5%. So you can only give me a 0.5%. You can't even give me a 1% on a scale of 1 to 10. You can give me a 0.5
Right.
to that 10.
That's the-
So you think you're going to give your kids 100% of love when you only have 70% of love for yourself in here? Doesn't work that way.
It's a no thing.
So that's why they call it self. Whoever put the ish on the word of self, I mean, throw them out with the dishwater. It's like it is about the self. You're here to experience everything in its entirety here, the beauty of the world. Now we live in this world of duality, and one of the books I wrote is which side of the fence are you on?
Okay.
Because you can't be on both at the same time. If you're happy, whoo, you're singing the praises and you're jumping around and dancing. But if you're not and you're sad, you're moping around here like, oh man, nobody loves me. It's like, I can't do nothing. It's like, oh, I'm exhausted, right?
Yeah.
Well, where would you rather be? Which side of the fence would you rather be on?
Well, the happy side.
That's right. That's the only thing that happens on this show, man. Right? So it's time to be happy. It's
Yeah.
time to uplift. It's time to increase your overall vibration. And so let's look at some emotions.
Okay.
And let's look what's going on with Houston. I like to call this skin bag we run around it Houston. Okay? Because the old saying, hey, Houston, we got a problem. Remember when the space came back, right? So it's like, you know what? When you bury emotions and feelings, the feelings are what fuel the emotion.
Okay.
So it puts the gas in the tank, so to speak, for an emotion. And so when that happens, Houston starts to break down. So we talk about anger. Anger stores in your liver.
Okay.
Your liver is one of the most prominent parts of the body for detoxing. And if you're putting all this toxic anger in it and frustration and everything, that sets you off, somebody says something and boom, you fly off the handle and you're in this rage. Well, what's your liver doing? Your liver's like splattering up against the wall, right? Then it's trying to come back down. You're okay. Oh my goodness. And then all these stress hormones start relating. So your stress hormones are moving throughout your body, causing damage.
Okay.
Stress is the number one cause behind every discomfort that Houston has.
Right.
Okay. So it's like, okay, when you begin to understand, so filling yourself with anger is like taking a shot of poison and hoping the other person's going to die. That person that really, pissed you off, so to speak, right? It doesn't work that way. So you're holding all of that anger that they triggered in you. They're going off on their merry way, happy ever after, forget the whole, event. And you're letting that event stew away inside your liver with anger and frustration and rage and whatever the case may be. Well, who's going to suffer? Houston. Yeah. Yeah. So it's exactly. So, the work that I do in that emotional healing aspect and in the energy healing work is to really understand, how do you get a hold of that stuff? How do you work in those levels to move that out of your cell? And the more of that toxicity that you can move out of your cells,
Okay.
the healthier you become, the more energized you become.
Right.
Now you're not only healthy in your physical body, you're more healthy in your emotional body. Your mental state becomes more healthier, and even your soul essence becomes even healthier. It has to align. Everything has to align with that divine intelligence, that God source, right?
Right.
Everything must align up to create harmony. And then you can just live life in that dream.
Whoa.
Now you're really walking the essence of who you are, the truth of who you are.
Right.
And all of a sudden your confidence starts to build up. You begin trusting in yourself. And sometimes it takes a lot of courage to step out of that comfort zone, because let me tell you, first time you step out of that comfort zone, you're going to be sweating and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, Beverly said I can do it. I know I can. I know I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Right? And you speak it.
Yeah.
And you perform it.
Yeah.
And you follow through. And all of a sudden it's like, well, that wasn't so bad. And then all of a sudden you're getting these pats on the back from people saying, hey, good job. Oh my God, I didn't know you had it in you. Oh, this is awesome. I love this. Oh my gosh, your creativity is so inspiring. You know, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that was me. Oh, how nice. Yeah. Reward yourself. You know, definitely reward yourself. And the more you start stepping out of that comfort zone, the more you're going to be over here on the happy side of the fence instead of on the unhappy side of the fence.
Right.
And
So
you're going
maybe once you keep a lot of hate, you keep a lot of anger in you, there isn't any way you are ever going to celebrate yourself, or there isn't any way you are ever going to move to the other side, because that means you're not going to really appreciate whatever is happening to you. Is that right?
yeah,
Or it's
exactly. You continue to beat yourself up. I mean, we are our own best friend or our own worst enemy. And we judge ourselves. Now, judgment is a very powerful word.
okay?
Because we've heard everything from little on up. No, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
That's not good for you. You're going to get hurt. Right?
Right.
You did that wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Well, you know what? You're not. There's no right. There's no wrong. All there is what's in the moment. It's your is that counts. It's your truth that matters. It's your belief that drives you to your destiny of joy. Your that vision that you have out there. It's not about anybody else. It's about who? You.
You.
You. It's your story, it's your truth. So it's your is. If it's right for you, do it. If it's not right for you, don't do it. But, you know, don't make the choice because someone else said it wasn't right. Because
Okay.
it wasn't right for them.
Okay.
For them. Right? Honor that other person so that you can honor yourself. Respect that other person so you can respect yourself. Because how you respect you, how you honor you, is how you honor someone else and respect someone else.
Whoa. How you honor you, how you respect you is the
Right.
same way you do to that next person. So, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the studio here with Beverly. And hey, his catchphrase is take the action. Take the action. Don't just sit down and harbor that anger, that hate in you, expecting that whatever you are planning for that person, that you are harboring in you, will hit that person. You know what? She says, you are going to end up killing your soul. Let it go and take action. The way you respect yourself, the way you love yourself, is the same way you do to the other person. You can't love yourself 70% and love or give love to someone else at 100%. Is she said it's a no, no.
It doesn't work that way, right?
Right. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. So Beverly, that's Beverly for you, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your questions coming in so that she can now address them based on where she's taking us to. Thank you so much. Beverly, let's move on. I'm really enjoying this. I'm so excited because you are kind of uncoupling certain things that we think are not really necessary to our movement or moving to our dream or our destined location. But you are gradually scratching the surface of it, and it is becoming so relevant and meaningful to us. So that from here, we are going to walk the talk. We are going to bring to life that dream that we have. Carry us home, Houston.
And there you go. That's right. Let's carry Houston home. And when you start out there and you start walking, you start living that, you're going to open up doors that have never opened before. You're going to see people magnetically coming to you
Right.
because they're watching. People are watching you and what you do and what you say.
Right.
And if they like what you do and they like what you say, they're going to say, hey, I want some of that, what you got. And you know what? I have a group of people here that I think would really benefit by what you got. I've been watching you, and it's inspiring, and it's enlightening. And I
Right.
see you overcoming challenge after challenge after challenge. You really walk in integrity. I haven't known you to say something that you haven't done. That's relevant. That's truth. That's walking your talk.
Right.
Because you can have all the information. You can be a walking encyclopedia, just like Google. Okay? But
Encyclopedia. Yeah.
that's right. But if all you're doing is this and there's no action, then what good is it? People aren't going to trust and believe and work with you if they don't see you taking an action and getting a result.
Right. Right.
Right? So it's time to do what? Take an action. That's what this whole show is all about, right? Walk
Yeah.
that talk, get that movement going, take that action.
Take that
Yeah.
action.
So we talked about the duality, which side of the fence are you on?
Yeah.
Well, everything in life is either an action or a reaction.
Okay.
So when someone, you're in a conversation with someone and they make a comment, maybe they make a statement, that's their action. How
Okay.
you interpret and perceive that activity is your reaction.
Okay.
Now your reaction becomes an action to them.
Okay.
Then they are going to do what? They are going to have a reaction to your action coming from the other side. So everything, action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction.
Okay.
What is tripping your trigger? Oh my God, kids. Kids know how to push those buttons. And I'm gonna say this too. There's members of the opposite sex on both sides
Okay.
that also know how to push buttons.
They are the
Oh.
button pushers. Button pushers. Where are you?
Yeah, they come in all sizes, forms, and shapes, and businesses, and friends, and neighbors, and strangers. Yeah, they're all over the place.
Right.
And you know where else that button pusher is?
No.
In here.
Listen.
Oh, Houston's got a button too that likes to push. So that's being human, okay?
Right.
So when you can recognize, seriously, when you can begin to recognize whose buttons are you pushing and why are you pushing those buttons? When you watch your actions and your reactions, because the button pushing comes in that a lot. Right. So when you're in a conversation, whether there's more than one person in the group, or if it's just, a one-on-one, being open in those conversations, being able to speak the truth as you see it, but being the receiver when it agitates you or it pushes that button and it upsets you, rather than going off in a massive, reaction and go after the juggler, stop for a second, and say, hold on a second. I need to anticipate this, right? And then find out that reaction, what you just heard. So before you made a reaction, you can't take back and say something or do something, right? Just say,
Right.
It pushed a button in me. It tripped my trigger.
Okay.
Is this really the person? Is it really their activity or their action? Or did it trigger something in me that I don't like in myself
Okay.
that I need to release, to give up, to let go of because it's what's sabotaging me?
Right.
And then you can say, oh, wow. It really hit below the belt what you just said. But when I think about it here a little bit, I do this, don't I? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Thank you for helping me recognize this. I need to let this crap go. That person is going to have more respect for you, and you're going to have more respect for yourself
Right.
because now you're beginning to recognize what is playing on autopilot.
Right.
Right?
Right.
What is that stagnation? What is what's preventing you from really becoming and fulfilling those dreams that we talked about? What is really stopping you from taking that action
Yes.
that's going to impact the rest of your life
Yeah.
and the life of those around you? That's critical. So
Yeah.
recognize the button pusher and the buttons being pushed and what it is that doesn't taste good in here. Say, okay, use it. And then really man up to it, woman up to it, boss up to it, and say, whoa, if I'm going to be a better me, then I need to do better things.
Okay.
I need to keep doing even better things. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when you're laying there in bed trying to go to sleep, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you upset that you didn't do what you wanted to do for the day? Are you just sick and tired of the same old thing happening over and over and over? And it's like, what do I have to do to change this? First off, you have to recognize where the change has to happen.
Okay.
And that's those buttons, that's those triggers, that's that reflection. This is why you have two eyes and you look into someone's eyes. You look right into the eyes and say, hey, you listen to me in there? Knock, knock. Hello? Right? And when you start to listen,
Yeah.
then change can happen because change is going to happen with or without you.
Okay.
That's just the way it is. That's science. That's movement, that's motion, that's energy, that's frequency. So, where if you want change, you're the only one that can make that change, right?
Exactly.
And change for the better. Start to really understand that subconscious, that little child in there, that little sabotager, that shadow self. There's so many different names for it now. Whatever you want to call it, what is eating away at you?
Right.
So we talk about different discomforts and different things, and what the meanings are. Look at the pandemic in the world. I mean, cancer never used to be out there, and
Yeah.
now it's everywhere you look.
Yeah.
Well, what is cancer? Cancer is nothing more than something eating away at you.
Okay.
So if you have cancer in your liver, what's eating away at you? If you have cancer in the bladder, what's eating away at you? If you have cancer in the kidneys, what's eating away at you? If you have cancer in the brain, what's eating away at you? If you have cancer in the breast, what's eating away at you? Start stopping and asking these questions. And it doesn't matter what dysfunction is going on in Houston, there's something that's running amok. How many people do you know that have back problems? Oh, my back. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I did. I slept wrong. No, you're not feeling supported. You're not supporting yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, or spiritually. You probably don't have financial support. Maybe you're not supported in a relationship.
Okay.
Who are you not supporting? All of that shows in the body,
Okay.
right? What if you got hand problems? You got this arthritis and it's all over, right? What's going on here? What in life didn't you get a grip on? Ooh, hello. You got shoulder problems. What are you pushing away that you
Okay.
should be listening to and inviting? Ooh, yeah. I can go on. I can go on and on and on and on and on. But again, it goes back to what? Your belief and trust and faith in yourself. And if you don't have trust and faith in yourself, how are you going to have trust and faith in the higher powers?
Yeah.
How
There's no
can you
way.
say you love God when you don't love yourself? Because what? I mean, I was taught this as a little girl in Catholic school, okay? I mean, and I was very tiny, and we had religion every single day.
Right.
And they don't teach this anymore, but I think it was like in first grade because we didn't have kindergarten. It was like first or second grade. So we were taught this. You know, God didn't know what to do with himself. He didn't
Yeah.
know where to put himself.
Yeah.
You know, he made us in his image and likeness, and he put us down here on this planet to have all this beauty that he made, the sea and the animals and the flowers and the trees and the rocks and the grass and the dirt and all this stuff, right? But he wanted to make sure that if you never ever needed to talk to him, that you could find him. So he's thinking, oh, where should I put myself? I know. I'll put myself inside of them and
Right.
I'll be with them all the time and they can find me. And what do? What do? We look outside of and we point, well, God's up there and the devil's down there. Really? No, he's right here. The devil is in here and God is in here.
Yeah.
Oh, oops. So when we say everything begins within, it begins within because the soul connection is your connection to the divine intelligence of all that is.
Right.
Right here. Don't look any further.
Look here.
Look here. Right?
It's all in there.
It's all in there. You just got to go find it. And, you know, sometimes I've heard people say, it's like, how do I find myself? Right? I don't even know who I am.
Exactly.
And identity crisis is a main thing. I mean, it is just massive. You know, finding that true identity of who you are. Well, you know what? The simplest way to find it is start moving away everything that you're not. Because once you get rid of all the things you're not,
Right
the
now.
you just shows up. It has to, right? It's like if you're looking for a needle in a haystack. Okay, here's this needle. It's
Yeah.
just this little thin thing, and you have all these strands of hay. So you keep throwing all the hay away, and guess what's left? Oh, there's a needle right there on the ground.
That's what
How
I'm looking for.
interesting. So that's how you find yourself.
Okay.
You move away what you are not, and you
Okay.
will find you.
So Beverly, that's the question. That's what somebody was going to ask you. That how do you move away from all those noises, all those things that are not you, till you find yourself? And how do you know that yes, this is Beverly that I have found?
Okay. When you start to begin to feel good in your own skin, you know it's real and it's you.
Okay.
Okay. And that is a really, really great question. So how do you know it's not you? If it makes you feel uncomfortable, if it makes you feel sad, if it makes you feel angry, it's not you.
Okay.
Those are things that are taught,
Okay.
right? To become happy and grateful and fulfilled and joyful. Those are all natural things that come with the beauty of nature. It's
Okay.
everything that's on the other side. The sadness and the anger and the upsets are what are taught. You don't come into this world with those in your cell memory. You create those and you allow others to help, grow on them, right?
Right.
So it's just move it away. It's like, okay, I'm done being upset. What am I upset with? Oh my gosh, who am I upset with? And I teach a little system, and I'll run through this real quick, just to give people an idea, to help you start to uncover and eliminate some of those things. So when you start going through a transformation, and we have positive and negative charges. Negative and positive does not mean good or bad, because we have to have both charges of electricity. to make it work. And we personally, Houston here is an electromagnetic being. So it has positive charges on one side and negative charges on the other. Okay. So you got to harmonize those so that they fire and align.
Right.
Okay. So these are your thought patterns. So when you're thinking and when you're feeling a lot of things that we call negative emotions or negative feelings, what's happening is you shorted out your positive charge.
Okay.
Okay, so first off, you got to recognize you don't need to know what the problem is, because 95% of everything that is attached, because all thought's magnetic, all of that stuff is attached to your cell because it's similar and it's familiar and it builds up. 95% of it doesn't belong to you. You think you're going to find that 5% needle in the haystack? It's going to take you forever, right? Just trust. And this is where it comes in. Trust yourself and just say, you know, when you're in an experience, it's like, I mean, do that right now. If the audience wants to do that right now, you know, the person that asked that question, what is one thing that's eating away at you right now? What I want you to do is say, I recognize that something here is really agitating me. Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your gut? Do you feel it in your leg? Do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel it in your lungs? Where do you feel it?
Right.
And then I want you to just say, I recognize this issue. I acknowledge this as being my truth because it was my truth when I stuck it in there because that's all I knew. Okay, because the subconscious wants to hear your cell memory, that outdated database wants to hear that it's right because we all want to be right. So, you know what? Surrender, be right. Let that other entity, that other issue, let that issue be correct. I say, okay, so I acknowledge that this is my truth. But you know what? That was then and this is now. It's not truth anymore. So it's time for us to surrender it and let it go. So now build this like this little incinerator out here in front of you. This big, huge fire, right? Because fire transmutes.
Okay.
So just let yourself take a deep breath. Breathe it out into that incinerator and just say, oh, I let it go wherever it's at. I just let it go. Oh my gosh, it's not doing me any good. Just shake it off and let it fall into that incinerator and just and do that 3 times. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is great. And know and tell yourself, all of this stuff, wherever it's stored, whatever cell it's in, whatever belief system it's in, whatever file, it's time to let it all go because it no longer serves me purpose. This is not the real me anymore.
Let it go.
And let it go to fruition. Let it come to completion on its own. And then you want to replace this because what happens is when there's a void, energy is going to put something in it. We live in a negative world, so what's going to jump in there first? We don't want somebody else's stuff to jump in there. We want to put in there what we want.
Right.
So now we want to say, yes, I am filling this up with love and gratitude and joy, and peace and alignment. I am the power. I am the truth. Yeah, I am feeling great. I am going to be a better me today than I was yesterday.
Sure.
Yeah, I am going to make it a point today to do one thing different than I normally do today. Just one thing. Yeah, I can do this. I got this. Yes. Okay. So you're filling yourself all the way up with that. And then you say, deep breath in. I embrace this into every cell because now this is my new truth. How does that make you feel? I mean, I don't know about you, but my cells are tingling right now. It's like, whoa, I feel good. You know, and that's how simple it is. You know, and people can reach out to me. I'm all over social media, and I'm sure you got all my links and everything, right? Is to let's work together on this. You know, and these are some of the things that I teach in my workshops. How to make this work and go deeper and deeper and deeper and really get these haystacks out of the way and get them done in big bunches. You know, we'll clear the whole hayfield instead of one little bale. right? And you don't need to know what it is you're getting rid of. You just know that it's not serving you purpose. So when you're having all these thoughts, all these crazy thoughts, stop for a minute, take a deep breath and say, who's talking the loudest?
Okay.
Okay. And now really listen. Listen not by just your ears, but listen to what it's feeling,
Okay.
right? Listen to what it's feeling. What are you telling me? Oh, you're telling me that 25 years ago,
Yeah.
when I got so irate with XYZ person, and I just put all this hate and anger out towards them, said I would never speak to you again, blah, 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 whatever, right? And this is still making static and noise. And they are so hurt, they don't know what drove you away. And why don't they know what drove you away? Because you didn't do what? You didn't speak it. You
So
swallowed it. We swallow these things instead of speaking our truth. It goes in here, and then it goes into the heart, and then it goes down into the solar plexus, and then it goes into the sacral. Now you become what? The victim. Poor little me, nobody loves me. Yeah, right. Get over your bad self, right? So when you listen, you will get the answers and just, wow. Oh my gosh. Do that little clearing. Say, that was truth back then. I recognize it as the truth. Wow, this database is so outdated. I haven't thought about this person in 25 years, right? And it's like, okay, let me get rid of that stuff. Let me forgive myself for those incorrect perceptions. Let me forgive them. Let me just start to share all the love I can muster up to heal that wound out there to that other person. But most of all, to heal that wound inside of me. And I become a forgiving person. I become a grateful person. I become a healthy person. I become a person that just shares love to the world. Now you're filling that gap up and embrace that. Wow, this is the truth. Where's that person's phone number? Who do I know that knows them? Who do I know that's still talking to them? I need to call them. Oh my gosh. And you call, hey, I need to chase down so-and-so. The last person I knew that talked to him was okay. And you're going back and all of a sudden you find them. Or when you find them, you can call them and say, hey, this is me from your past. I just want to say, not you're sorry, because sorry means you're a sack of what? I apologize. 25 years ago, when I took off in this heated, oh my gosh, all this time that we have wasted, I just want to ask your forgiveness and just send you love and hope everything is going great for you. And that's awesome. But how many times has that person left the planet? And now we're like, how am I gonna I'm not gonna get a chance to say anything to them.
yeah.
Yes, you can, because their soul, their spirit is still alive. They're not running around here in Houston,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you can speak to them in that same manner, soul to soul,
Okay.
and it heals a piece of their soul
Okay.
because it also heals a piece of your soul
Right.
and a piece of Houston.
Right.
And that's how you begin to find the identity of who you are. And that's how you start to move those things out of the way that you're not.
Right.
You know, so that's a little bit of some of the stuff that I do, right?
Right. But
And
this huge chunk you just dropped on the plate for us. So now that you have identified your true self, this is the true Benjamin. Now, how do I now identify those buttons that when are being pressed, it pushes me to a different mood or pushes me to a different
okay,
side?
you just answered your question. It
Right.
pushes you to something different that you don't like,
Yeah.
something that makes you uncomfortable.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
then you stop and say, okay, what's this button all about?
Okay.
Are they pushing this button because they have the issue?
Okay.
Or are they pushing this button because I've got the issue.
All right.
And it's usually on both sides of the fence. It's theirs and yours, right?
Right.
Right. Or unless they're like a counsel and they're trying to push your buttons so that you start paying attention and start reframing your thought processing, right? But
Yeah.
as soon as you start to feel uncomfortable,
Okay.
look at what's the uncomfortableness, because you're going to feel uncomfortable when you start stepping out of that comfort zone and doing something different than what you normally do. It's like, I always do it this way and I always get the same outcome. And I'm always pissed off because I never get what I want. Okay. Well, guess what? That's the definition of insanity. So, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to follow through with this. I'm not going to listen. Okay, yes, I recognize your little voice down there telling me in my gut, yeah, you're telling me that we got to keep doing it this way because it's the right way. Okay, I believe you. But we're going to try something different. Let's play a new game. Let's play a new game, little gut. We always play your game. It's my turn. Okay. And then you start moving forward and doing it differently. Follow through. You're walking the talk. You are now, you said that you were going to do something. And then you back, after everybody disperses, then you try to make an excuse to get out of it. Well, now you're going to keep walking and you're going to follow through with it and you're going to do it the best that you can. And that's all someone can ask is the best that you can. But we always ask more of ourselves, but just do it. Do it and complete it. It doesn't matter how it got done. It matters you did it. You did it, right? That is going to make a game changer for you. And that's also going to help you to recognize that that's now a part of you because, well, I got what I want. I got happiness. I got joy. I look what I just did. Look what I created. Look at this. Oh my gosh, right? And it could be something just as small as someone is saying, hey, we're having a wedding and whatever. Can you come and help decorate? And we just need you to put the tablecloths down, and pin this, do it or whatever. And then you step back and you say, wow, I did that. That looks really nice. Because you arranged the flowers and did whatever, right, into that taste. And it's going to be complimented. Right. And now you can say, wow, to yourself, right? Because now you're getting that recognition here. Doesn't matter if anybody else out there says anything, you said it to yourself. Always compliment yourself no matter what.
Wow. Compliment yourself. I love that.
Because it all starts in the self, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. That's it. Oops, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it was going to be awesome in here today. And just as my words were, it has been awesome. We've been able to now notice or come to understand the two sides, whether you want to be on the happy side or you want to be on the sad side. We've come to understand how to take all the unnecessary things, the excesses out, so that you can identify the real you. And once you identify the real you, you can now be able to know what are those buttons that when I'm being pushed, it takes me off where I'm supposed to be. Then you get to understand the baggages you are giving or putting on Houston so that it doesn't drain you, but you are able to move and hit your target. I told you, and she has beautifully weaved us through that kind of energy and that kind of understanding that we need to have to complement yourself. Beverly, what are some of the last things you want to share with us before we close our session?
Oh, gosh. Okay, here we go. Remember, it doesn't matter what other people think, do, or say about you. It matters what you think, do, and say about you. And start opening up to trust inside here. Find your own truth. Build that confidence. Step into your courage. Everything will be clear. And just walk forward. Take action.
Well, I love the sober nature of which she ended her presentation. It hits right here. So 25 years ago, a gentleman had a dream, and the dream was to get to a different stage of his life. 25 years ago, he stood back and looked and said, hey, have I been able to walk that talk? Have I been able to accomplish that dream that I have for myself? What did I wanted to do, or what did I set out to do? And that question is to you, the viewer. Some years ago, what were the dreams that you had for yourself? Have you been able to walk that talk? Beverly has given us a beautiful pictorial view of how to get to that destination that you have for yourself. On behalf of the African Seasoned Speakers Network Management and staff, we want to say a very big thank you. And it is an honor hosting you and giving us that vivid description of how not to hold on to certain things in us that is going to poison us on our journey. We want to say a very big thank you to you. And thank you for making time with us. Hey, viewers, you know what? This is just the tip of the iceberg that Beverly gave to us. I'll promise you again that Beverly is going to be on the show once again. And that time, she is going to go on a different tangent with us. So, as we always say, if you want to help push this up, just hit us and let's get it to the others that have had 25 years of dream, that they've never walked that talk. They keep on postponing things. They keep on not identifying and knowing whom they are. So on that note, we want to say thank you very much to Beverly. So I want to say, Beverly, do you have any projects that you about embarking, or do you have any project that you're doing so that we can also help push it up for you?
Okay, thank you guys so much for being here. And again, just reach out to me on social media, whatever. I can give Benjamin a link if people are interested in wanting to join a webinar I'm going to do on building courage and confidence and that clarity. Just kind of goes a little bit deeper. So all these things are available. Just reach out. I'm all over the place.
Right. So viewers, don't get worried. She's going to share the link with us, and it is going to be on our platform. So anytime she's moving on to have the webinars, I'll be the first person to log in because, hey, I have not finished learning from Beverly. So thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. And always, my name has been Ambassador Benjamin Osuansa. Catch you next week, where we are going to have another person in the studio to also take us to another level. Thank you so much. God bless you. And always remember, get to the top level of your dream, because dreams are in levels. See you